I think the defeat that we saw tonight isn't just any ordinary type of defeat. This defeat was so destructive, was so humbling, was so humiliating that not only does it call out the level of performance from the players tonight, but it transcends that. There are now serious question marks around Mauricio Pochettino, and I think there's even bigger, serious question marks around the rebuild of our football club. Because with the unprecedented level of spending we've seen, to spend over $1 billion, over $1 billion, the systematic change of everything at the club structure, from flipping groundsmen getting sacked to move on, medical teams, staff, it's been so fast and it's been so comprehensive. I mean, the money that we've spent on this team, this is the best we can show for it. This is the best we can show for it. It's a disgrace. The level of performance you saw from Liverpool is going to take us God knows how long to get to. You know why? Because we'd be lucky to play a game like this 2-3 times max throughout a season. But with Liverpool, they can keep on doing it week in, week out. That's why they'll most likely win the Premier League. And that's why they've been better than us now considerably for over 5 years. There's serious question marks around my club in Chelsea FC right now, because God knows how long it's going to take for us to come close to even impersonating this type of performance we saw from Liverpool today. My God, 28 shots against us, 13 on target. They hit the post 4-5 times. It should have been more than 4 they scored against us. This could have been one of the most embarrassing defeats in our history. And for me, it still is, because I have not seen us get comprehensively destroyed like this for a very long time. And listen, I'm a humble guy, and I'm going to say massive credit to Liverpool today for showing us what real levels are. These are the real levels, not the fake stuff, you know. We phased out every bit of experience we had. We phased out all the players who were close to approaching their prime to take a gamble by investing on the next greats that one day they'll all come good and get better. But the only way that happens is when these guys have the time to be properly developed. And to do that, you need a manager that has the right ideas and the right system. And to be honest, I don't know if Pochettino is that guy right now. You guys know I'm quite level-headed. I don't just say things reactionarily unless I'm tweeting a few times. But I have to say, I think I've lost my trust and faith in Pochettino. And it simply comes down to one reason. And that reason is I just don't know what Chelsea team is coming out on the night. Like, who saw this performance tonight? Be honest. Be honest with yourselves. Did you see us getting destroyed this bad tonight? Be brutally honest with yourself. I did not see it. I thought with our midfields, with how we've played and approached these games before, you know, it gives you a small bit of confidence to take into these games, knowing, okay, you know, I got an idea of how we're going to be, right? But throughout this season, every time I thought I'm starting to understand what's going on, you know, the trapdoor opens and I'm falling down. I got no idea what's going on. And Pochettino has been enforcing this throughout the season. And what's going to happen? You know, you're looking at the level of performances dropping. You're seeing us getting destroyed tactically. I mean, how often do we get destroyed this season, yeah? Based on crosses that hit off our far posts or counterattacks. And you know why we keep getting exposed? Because with this reliance on this like 4-4-2 mid-block that's so congested and tight, it means that if a team is serious, they can commit a fullback forwards, or they could constantly have a presence out wide. If they play quickly to them, you take out our whole structure. And what that then forces us to do, it means that one of the players on the field must do like a mad 40-yard sprint to try and close the guy down on his opposite flank. And by the time he does that, you're leaving gaping holes in your defensive structure. And with a serious, proper, world-class establishment like Liverpool FC, they're going to come, they're going to destroy you, and they're going to smell the blood. Like, what was the plan? We didn't commit to defending off the ball. Maybe in hindsight, we should have done that when we saw that fast, aggressive start from Liverpool. And we didn't even commit to pushing men forward to at least try and force the game in our favour. It was just like this mediocre mess where nothing was going on. There was zero conviction in our play. And is it any surprise that lack of conviction tactically is going to transpire on the players? Listen, the players today show themselves up for what they are. They got potential, they got talent, but they aren't those guys right now. Because in games like this, when it's about being better than that man in front of you, than your opposition, yeah, we can't do that. Because we were comprehensively destroyed, beaten man for man against Liverpool today. And I don't care about the money we spent on the potential, whatever. These guys aren't that right now. You know, I'm seeing the level of mistake. How many final balls getting flopped throughout the game today? I think one of the best moments that really summarizes my point, when Gusto plays one of the rare attacks we produce, start of the second half. Exquisite first time cross. I give Gusto credit. He gets everything right. He is a serious spy we made, yeah? The ball finds itself to Mudryk, but does he have the level of skill like a Diaz would have, where he'd probably trap the ball, control that with his left foot, take it inside and force the shot at least? No. Mudryk, he's inexperienced, he's nervous, the Anfield crowd is behind him, he can hear that in 4K. What does he do? He doesn't. He does absolutely nothing. He completely loses all composure to take that shot then, and that moment's gone. But that's the thing. The serious teams, they never, ever, ever waste those moments. And that really sums up where we are right now, where we've taken a massive gamble on investing in future stars. And what does that even mean? When these guys eventually become stars, I guess Salah and that will be retired as football players. Maybe then it will work when all these teams in the future have to do their rebuilding phase. But for right now, this is a team that's not prepared for nothing. It's not even prepared to get European football. It's not prepared for shit. For nothing at all, yeah? And you have to question the genius behind the transfer model and approach, because to exclusively tell yourself we are only buying players under a certain age, it shows like a level of naivety and a lack of respect for the game, because every serious club has a balance. If they want to win, because this is what these guys love to market to us fans, we want to win, we're about trophies, all the bullshit spiel that none of them are good enough to actually produce for us for this season. You know, if they were serious, you got a balance with the experience, guys reaching their peak, and a few stars that you can get ready for the future. And I've always said the prime example I've seen of this was Real Madrid. You know, when they won that Champions League again for the fourth time, did they say, okay, goodbye Cruz, goodbye Modric, goodbye Ronaldo, Benzema, you're old now, we don't need you? No, they're a proper football team. They kept their stars. They integrated young stars slowly every season to get them ready for the time when their experienced stars are gone. But we don't have that level of respect. And I think it's really just summarizing the point that we got two sporting directors. Why the hell do we have two different sporting directors? There's no unity right now, and I think it was reflected in terms of us investing so heavily into youth. And the reason why we don't help these guys is because we have a manager that doesn't want to embrace the risk that comes with using youth, with his mediocre approach to the game. And I think that's the only way I can say it. It's mediocre. Sometimes it's all right, sometimes it ain't, and most times it's doing absolutely nothing. I have so much to say about this game, but I think I just want to cut my point right now to focus on one thing that was causing me rage like I have not seen for a long time. Thank God I did not stream this game today, because I think I get my stream banned by YouTube based on the things I'm saying. I have to say, poor Tierney, you fool. You know, these disgraceful, these corrupt officials in this game, in this country, it's an actual stain on the Premier League. The level of these guys is nowhere near. Two decisions that could have at least added something to the game for us. Right at the start, Conor Gallagher taken down by Van Dijk, clear contact with his knee. What does the referee do? What does the officials do? What does the VAR team do with their million camera angles, their 10-man team, all these voices? They do absolutely nothing. But I think the one that made me more angry was the foul against Nkunku. And the reason why I just exploded to a new level of anger, I didn't even know I had in me anymore, was because the referee awarded the exact same identical penalty from Badiashile on Jota. I think there's no excuses any of these fools can give us. For me, I think it's pure corruption. We all know in this country the refereeing is more of a boyhood's club where they like to back each other, they support each other. I just think, knowing how corrupt this country is already, it wouldn't surprise me that it transpires to the game right now, because when you see these level of mistakes and the confidence behind them, this is beyond the Anfield crowds of influencing the refereeing decisions. This is just pure corruption, in my opinion. I'm not here to say that it would have changed the game. It's about making the game even and fair. And these were two moments where, if we got Cole Palmer in the field, he has a very high chance of converting those penalties. If we have got the first goal, the game's completely different. Completely different. If we come back to make it 3-2 quickly, when then Kunku was taken down, it becomes a different game. And those possibilities get denied by the corruption in this country. And I'm sick and tired of it, yeah? So I had to get it off my chest. But to end with things, I have to discuss some of the moments in the game that really summarize where we are as a team right now. Some of the performances today, I'm looking at Badiashile. I'm sorry, some of you guys were lying to yourself, absolutely lying to yourself and smoking crack when you said this guy was levels over Coral. Because of what? A performance against Sheffield United. Don't talk to me anymore, yeah? Badia has to work on his positioning throughout this season. Balls in behind, left, right and centre, runs in behind, allows the runners there because he has no idea where he is, because he's ball watching. His body orientation's all over the field. You know, he doesn't scan enough times like he should. And we're getting done for it now. And I think this is why we just don't see him play as often, because right now he's not good enough. I'm looking at Moises Caicedo. Again, I was giving my points at the start of this video, but he is not a world-class midfield player. Maybe he can get there one day, but it's not going to come in the space of a few months. It will take at least 2 years minimum, maybe 3, because there's just so much parts of his games that have to be fine-tuned. And I think for me, what's always disappointing me, actually, and I've said this throughout the season, is this defensive aptitude. Because I thought that bare minimum, if he struggles in other areas, the defensive side, his side of the game, would be absolutely pattern, yeah? But when you're seeing these naive mistakes left, right and centre, these clumsy tackles where he's wrapping his legs around opponents in positions he shouldn't even be attempting tackles from, when he's getting bounced off opponents, when he's getting shimmied and done. Nah. And when you're spending big money on this guy to be your main game changer, to replace N'Golo Kante, right now Caicedo can't lace his boots right now. We got to keep it real. You know, we've taken for granted the level of performances we would see from a lot of these man, yeah. And the you kids, they got that potential, but they aren't those guys right now. And this is why you get games like this, because how can you build up? How can you play? You know, Ben on the left-hand side, absolutely awful. But I think it's no surprise that anyone on the left-hand side today was bad, because I think Liverpool was targeting that area. They closed off the passing angles. They tried to force passes backwards. Throughout the game, every time fullbacks had the ball, most times they're playing it backwards. The only time we could actually get forward was Gusto's pace and a few link-ups with Cole Palmer. But outside of that, we got outclassed tactically. And Pochettino is starting to show he's quite a predictable manager in terms of setup, approach to games and everything. When's the last time we got really surprised? I think the only time we see that is when we have to chase a game and when he has to really go for it. But outside of that, when it comes to starting games, we're mediocre but predictable. And my main fear is, have we been sussed out already in 2024 when we haven't even mastered this system we've been working on throughout the season? And this is the mediocrity that I'm getting sick and tired and seeing for Mauricio Pochettino, yeah? Oh my lords. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't care how I come across in this video. Sometimes I need to say what I have to say based on how I feel, and I just feel utterly defeated based on how we lost this game today. And even if we win the next 2-3 games in the bounce, I don't think it's going to make up for nothing, to be honest with you. And I think when it comes to our chances in the cup final, my God, we're going to rely upon a miracle. It might have to go back to what we normally do, park the bus, hope and pray, and try and just get a nasty win. But I don't think we can do that, because the guys that all the data analysts bought, they're not the type of players that can play that way. They can only play one way at one pace in very comfortable areas. But when the game gets a bit nasty or a bit tough or a bit more intense, you know, you see how they mouse up on the fields, you know, passing backwards, inwards, you know, too slow on the ball. My God, how slow were we when it came to closing down crosses throughout the game? I think that penalty moment summed it up perfectly, because every time Liverpool were taking a corner in this game today, they kept getting the second ball. They kept getting the second ball throughout the first minutes to the last minute, and we had no reaction to that. My God, this was out of this world in terms of embarrassment to this football club. And it's a stark reminder about what we actually are right now. And it's time for all of us to wake up and smell the coffee. You know, there's no need to stand players, managers, moments or nothing. We aren't a Champions League ready team. We're finished. We aren't on those levels whatsoever. And the only person on that level, there's a handful. But I think the absolute stars, Christo and Nkunku, because that goal he scored today is a type of goal no one in this team can score, can attempt, or can even pull off, because that is what the very top players can do. It's a shame we've not had him throughout the season. He's been our biggest miss, because you know he's cooking with the goals and assists if he's fully fit from the start. But when you're missing out on your star guy, what hopes do you really have for this season? But I just have a real fear that your Nkunku's, your Enzo's, a few players that are Reece James of the right level, will they take another season like this where we're going to be out of Champions League football again? And it does probably feel like next season will be another rebuild, because most likely we have another manager and we're going to see more reshuffling at the top. And I think it will happen again next season. And if we don't find success there, a lot of all this massive gamble around rebuilding the club gets shown up and we get shown out. So my friends, I need to end things right now. The club's not in a great position right now, and I think this comprehensive defeat just illuminates every issue, every concern, and just the level we are as a club right now.